Right, so looking at the outside of this L322 first of all, the paintwork is in generally quite good nick, although there's a lot of surface scratches from just 18 years of being on the road, so it basically wants a good machine polish, probably a 2-stage, maybe even 3-stage compound polish, which I've got a DAS6 polisher for, so I'll definitely be doing that. But there are other areas that need a bit more attention. This tailgate it looks like it's already had a bit of a repair at one stage already, and I know that these are quite bad for rusting because most panels are aluminium, but the tailgate is not, and this is quite badly corroded. So I've already had this looked at by a body shop repair place that I know and trust, and that is well and truly rotten. So we need a new tailgate for this, which I'm looking out for as we speak. But shouldn't break the bank really. Just get a good one, make sure it's not got any rust on it, and just get it resprayed. Bottom part of the tailgate is pretty good. No issues there, no rust on that. I've checked the hinges there. We've got a couple. The bumper is quite badly scraped on both sides. I think, pretty sure what's happened here is that a stationary object has somehow moved rapidly towards the corner of the car on a couple of occasions. A bit unusual, but it looks like that's what's happened. And yeah, we've got obviously lights needs replacing. All this is broken, scratched. Need to get a new one of those. The bumper, again, I've had the body shop guy have a look at this because it's got quite a big crack in it there, and these locating lugs here have popped away. And there's also down here. That's a big indentation in the plastic. It's possible, borderline possible, to repair the bumper, but what we're going to do is look for a better one really, and just get it repainted and stick it on. Again, there shouldn't be too much of a cost involved in that. Thinking about the inside of the boot, there's one obvious slight problem under here, in that there is no spare wheel whatsoever. So we're not sure exactly what's happened to that at some point, but at some point it's been taken out and not put back in, so we're going to have to find another one of those. But it does look generally dry. There's a bit of signs of some dampness, a bit of rust, but from what I've been reading, not really as bad as a lot are at this age, so looks okay. Another spare wheel area in here as well. Apparently these can be quite damp. You can get the water coming down from the roof into here, into all the modules that lie down there, but this is actually quite a basic model, so there's not much to get damage there, but in any case it's pretty dry, so that's quite good. Same really on that side. This piece of wood, I've actually been using that under the bonnet area because the gas struts have gone, so bonnet kept falling on my head, so that had been propping that up. But that's an issue that I've already resolved because it was causing me a sore head. Roof lining, I hadn't realised this until just lately. The roof lining is actually sagging all the way, and if you get in the back, then it brushes the top of your head. So this will be one of the last jobs to do, is going to be to sort of pull. You've got to take all the things off the roof on the inside and drop it down, get it out. I don't know whether you re-glue it or you get some new stuff to put on, but not a priority job, but yeah, something to do. Right, so the sides of the car, I'll just go down this side, but this area here is looking like there is rot to a degree, rot to a degree, that's going to need sanding back and possibly some welding. It's looking better towards the top here, but as soon as we open this door, unfortunately, this is where a lot of these go, down here it just gets more rotten as you go further on down. And on the other side, in fact, I poked this a bit too enthusiastically and my finger just went straight through it. So this is going to be a bit of a separate job, probably a separate video, but I'm going to take these plastic trims off on each side. I've already had a look underneath there. I mean you can see that's, that's cracked. I mean, I'm not going to push my finger through on that now. There's no point. We know that that's rotten. But yeah, all the way underneath the car on each cell, it's like literally like a cream cracker. Push it and it'll just go straight through, and obviously it should be solid metal. So structurally, I think that's going to be the biggest job, most time consuming, probably the most expensive on each side, because it's going to involve quite a degree of fabrication to get the, to cut the metal to the right size, but weld it up, and then obviously get it all sprayed up, and get it sort of like cavity insulated and what have you. So I think that's going to be the biggest job, but it shouldn't be too bad, really. Again, you can see this sunlight is bringing out these scratches quite well, if that's the right way to term it. They're just sort of, over time, the way it's been washed, they get sort of, scratched into the paint. But these are going to be, this should be quite an easy fix, really. Just take a bit of time on getting the polishing right. The handles, though, they're going to need to be resprayed. And again, I think this is all plastic based, so they just want sanding back and like a plastic paint, try and get this particular colour, which I think is Brunel grey. So it'll just be a case of masking off the door a little bit and getting the paint ordered, and spending a bit of time on that just to bring those back to the factory spec. That's pretty much the windows. These are tinted, but the tints are actually going on the inside. Don't know if this is going to pick it out really on here. This camera's not going to show you, but the tint, there's actually like a glitter effect, and it's flaking off quite badly. So there's like glitter fragments all over the back. And these marks are actually in the tints, so these tints are going to have to eventually come off. Either just leave them off or get the windows retinted. But again, that's probably roof lining type of territory. It's not really priority. The tyres, another thing to look at. They're just going, both the rear tyres need replacing due to the age of them. There's some age-related cracking, but also this outside edge on both sides is quite worn down. So really they need to be replaced. But we also need to get the wheel alignment checked to find out why it's wearing so much on this outside edge. Again, like I say, it's like that on both sides. I don't know if perhaps these may have been on the front, so the issue might actually be at the front and they've been swapped to the rear, so you don't actually know where the issue is. So we'll get the wheel alignment checked. So that's another job to add onto that list. under the bonnet then. First thing I've been checking is there's been a bit of a voltage drain issue, although we thought that there was, but having given the battery a good charge, it does seem to hold the charge for a short period of time. But I think what's happened is when these cars are left for a long period of time, they just drain all the power out of the battery, and it's actually knackered the battery. I've had the battery tested. That battery is a dud, really, so it needs a new battery. But there doesn't appear to be an actual power drain as such on the battery. So as long as it's kept, well used, charged up, then I'm hoping there's not an issue on the electrical side of things. Engine-wise, it's going to get basic service, filters changed. This fuel filter looks like it's due a change. So yeah, just a basic full service. It's not getting up to temperature, so the thermostat, I'm going to change that, which is in there. Glow plugs have come up on the computer when we've done a check to see what errors there are on there. The glow plugs need replacing, and that's obvious because when you start the car, it's very smoky, very smelly. So yeah, that's like an extra item. So apart from normal servicing, we've got some glow plugs needed, a thermostat needed. Obviously the coolant is going to need to be changed in with that as well. And the gearbox oil, from what I've been reading, it's wise to get that flushed. There's no issues at the moment with the gear change. It's very smooth, it's very good, but it's going to be wise to replace that oil, flush it out, replace the filter. So we're going to do that as well, just to safeguard against that. Also to mention, there was a fault with the EGR valve that's come up on the computer. So to resolve that, we've got some Miller's EGR valve cleaner. Put it in the petrol with some super diesel, run all that through, and hopefully that might well clear that up. Also got a steering issue. Both track rod ends are worn, and the inner rack joints on both sides. So that's going to need some work to replace those. So those bits need ordering, and those need to be put on. Not a huge job, but not small either. I've already replaced these gas struts here for the bonnet, because when it was the sort of colder the weather is, the more likely that when you've got this bonnet up, it's just going to fall down and hit you on the head. So it did that a couple of times. So yeah, replaced that already. So that's one job done. Going to do the same for the tailgate as well. And a couple of little jobs. This just needs sorting out. I don't know quite why that's a bit loose, but we'll have a look at that. Bit of touch up on that bumper. Again, get this bumper polished up. I think that should look pretty good from the outside. The last, oh yeah, another bit of plastic painting needed there. That's sort of like starting to peel off, so we'll get that resprayed. And I think the only other thing, at some point we'll be on the lookout for a new mirror, because this has just been hardwired, if you like, literally just been stuck in, just to get it through the MOT. Forgot to mention the EGR fault that came up as well. To resolve that, what I've done is I've got some Miller's EGR cleaner, basically, and
I think that'll be,
what you do, add it to the tank. I've got some super diesel in the tank as well. So we're going to run that through, and hopefully that's going to clean that valve up.
Let's have a look at the inside.
Hopefully that error's going to go. That we've also got a couple of trap ends on both sides, and the
inside
inner rack joints.
The Range Rover. There's no lights on the instrument panel there, so there's nothing immediate requiring attention engine-wise. Put into the light cluster anyway. I've had it plugged in, as I say, to a machine, and just had all the codes checked. A few codes did come up. As I say, glow plugs need replacing, and and a couple of faults came up with the air suspension. When I first picked this car up, the suspension was actually completely down at the back. On one side it was on its bump stops, so there was clearly an issue with that. I thought that was going to be a big job. Had a look underneath. One of the airbags was completely deflated, and I found that there was one of the sensors had there's a sort of snapped linkage on it, but I managed to repair that with just a bit of a good zip tying, really. Got it all back in place, cleaned it up. It was clarted up with mud, so I think the movement that should have been available in that linkage was just not quite there, and because of the age of it had snapped when it had moved. But so far, since I've done that and had the computer reset, the suspension came back up, all leveled out, and it's been fine since. So that's great, because I was thinking that was potentially going to be a very expensive repair. Thinking about what could have gone wrong with the air suspension, compressor, all those different sensors, or could it even been one of the airbags? But no, it all looks good so far, and I've had this moving up and down a few times since. So yeah, it's all looking good. The interior of the car, I've already given this a pretty good thorough washing. Been in there with a toothbrush to get a bit of a detail clean on the dashboard. So we've got a bit of paint loss on here, but it's done a hell of a lot of mileage, this car, so that's it's in pretty good order, I think, really. I've had the leather cleaner out on the seats, bit of a good scrub on the dashboard. There was a lot of dust, and as I say, because the car has just been used as a second car, it hadn't really been treated to decent cleaning for some years. So I don't know if this, in fact there's a fly there now. I cleaned, there was quite a lot of cobwebs in it, and I only cleaned it about 2 weeks ago, and I can already see there's obviously quite a few spiders living in this car, so I'm going to need to keep on top of the cleaning of that. But yeah, so inside there's not really that much to do now. As I say, it's all cleaned up. I would like to not replace this, because I like to keep cars original, and as I say, this is the SE spec original head unit. If there's a way that I can modernise this and get Bluetooth hooked into it, that would be fantastic. So I'm going to look at doing that. But as you can see, all the pixels are, you can't really see what's going on. And if I turn the radio up, it was on a minute ago, but now it's gone again, which I think is quite a common problem with these. So the CD works, but you don't know what track you're on or anything like that, so that's going to need some sort of sorting out, because I do like to listen to the radio, and it's a bit hit and miss. As I say, it was on for an entire journey the other day, like an hour, and then on the way back it just went off after about 5 minutes. So and again, there's a bit of a pixel issue here, although it's almost like a few of these seem to have come back. But so there's not as many. I'm sure there's not as many missing as there was initially. But yeah, again, the dashboard, apparently, it's a question of taking all this off at the top. You take these side pieces off here, and then you can get the clocks out and have those repaired. Apparently it's can be quite easy to do yourself, so I'll probably have a go at doing that myself. And again, once you've got all this top bit of the dashboard off, and as I say, these
the air vents, then you can then get the stereo out quite easily. So I'll probably head down to, there's an audio shop near me, and see what they say, see what solutions you can come up with for that, whether we get this radio repaired, and if we can get it improved and modernised, then that's great. If not, then there might be another way to stick something else there, but I don't want it to look, it would have to look good. I don't just want to stick a single DIN crappy radio there. I want it to look like it lives there. So interior wise, that's it really, I think, for here. As I said, you know, the doors have got some issues there, but I mean, you can't really do much about that. It's not really worth it. The leather's in pretty good nick. It's had a good clean. The headlining, as I've said, on the roof, you don't notice it so much in the front, but as soon as you get in the back, you know, your head brushes on the top. So that's going to want some looking at some stage. But further on down the line, not something that's essential. And the actual the tinting of the windows, I think you can see it there. It almost looks like there's rain on the outside of the window, but there isn't. It's completely dry, but that's the window tints that have started to react after 18 years and degrade, so they do need to come off.